Hey guys, thanks for all the great comments that we had on the, they're not Palisades, the DM's info, I think. His name is Gareth, I think it's the DMG info, that's it. Gareth is a really super cool guy out of Australia, the home of Viv, for all of you, terrain people in the know who's really cool out there, is also Australian. Love it, love it, love it. Anyways, I painted these bad boys up, and I wanted to kind of show what they looked like, and then I'm going to do another video. I black bombed it, and then I used, I think this is burnt umber. Yeah, burnt umber. And then I highlighted it with honeycomb, and it's worked off of a flat black. So if you're wondering how I got the colors that I got, this is the colors that I dry brushed on. You want to do about a 2/3 coverage with this, about a 1/3 coverage with that. And I had some extra bits around, and I thought I would do another type of how-to. And I'm not even going to try and tell you what this is called. These are called something in French that if I was to pronounce it, I'd probably be insulting your mother. So I'm not even going to try it. Go back one video and look what Gareth had to say. Chateau something or other. Very cool though. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an emplacement. And I'm going to make this look more like a hasty defense on purpose. I'm going to just take a hunk of foam and just spare bits, and I'm going to show you how I would do it. So here we go. Sorry, that's some stuff that I'm working on before I go out the door. So sorry if that sneaks its way into the picture. So, go like so, go like so. Okay, so I've got this piece here. What I want to do, kind of like a cannon emplacement, a medieval cannon emplacement. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a rough semicircle here. And it doesn't need to actually be... Normally I would check like the wheel width and stuff on this for the cannon or ballista or whatever it is that you're going to be doing. I want the cannon to be able to see over it, or the troops to be able to see over it. That's the reason why I'm going with this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to real quick scroll saw this out. I'll be right back. You can hot wire it out. You can even start ripping it off. But I want a little more control, so I'm going to start off with the saw. I'll be back literally in about 15 seconds. I had someone ask a question about cutting on, or cutting with scroll saws. They were getting a little bit of fuzz. If you're getting fuzz on your cuts, like if you see here, it's really kind of open. This is what I would call open grain. There's a grain to it like wood. Whenever you're cutting against the grain, or across the grain I should say, the grain of the wood's going to open up, and it's going to be much harder to cover it with paint. It's also going to tend to have more dust in it. Now, what I typically do is, if you cut more slowly, you'll get like a sanded effect. It'll be like sandpaper when I'm using my 360 blade. If you're not using 360 blade and you want to minimize that, I suggest getting a metal cutting saw blade. The reason I say metal cutting is not because you need metal to actually cover or to cut this, but the number of teeth per square inch is critical. The number of teeth is critical. You want as many teeth as possible when you do this. So I'm just ripping it up, tearing it up. I'm just going along the edges. Nothing really special. I better plug in my gun. kind of important, right? You know, my suggestion is I never like to affix anything to boards. Reason being is once you've affixed it, one, you can't move it, so if you have a different scenario, you can't do anything about it, and two, more importantly, you can't like lift it and drop it in other places. Now some things you kind of have to do that. I ripped up the edges now, right? Now I've got this flat part on top. Now there's a couple things you could do. If you wanted to do this like grass, you could do this like grass and like they just wore it away to make it more of a difficult way to get to it. I prefer to go all the way. And so I'm going to just keep on tearing and ripping. You'll notice on the edges where the that the factory cut it, it's a heat cut, and what it does is it tends to harden it a little bit more than the rest of the foam itself. Now these little chiblets can come in handy for rocks if you want to use them as rocks later on or whatever. But basically you want to, you know, open it up. Now I've got what looks like a rough, quickly made earth embankment, right? So the next thing I'm going to do now, and it's usually easier if this is sharpened on the other end. Matter of fact, I'll do that real quick just to kind of do a quick recap on how to do this quickly. We'll go screaming in here, and my sander's on the ground. The reason I'm doing this is because it's going to be a tighter base, and it's going to stick better and deeper. Okay, you can see it great. So with these long flat ones here, what I'm going to do, where the flat bottom is, I'm just going to touch it, and that's all I have to do. See how I've got that wedge shape on there? That'll sink right into that foam. They don't have to be pretty, they just got to be functional. No one's going to see these. Same with these. I don't even worry about going to a point, I just go in at an angle. About 45. Don't even worry about the fuzz that's going to be on it, because that's going to sink right into the foam. Okay, all these are now prepared, and they should all sink into that foam real nice. Where's my Dramamine? Okay, so I've got sharpened ends here, and I've got all my pieces ready. Now what you want to do is you can make it haphazard on purpose, or you can try and make it roughly equal. So I have 3 of these, so I put them at 3 angles. Then I just put like one in between each one, and then I got a couple of extra ones, so I'm going to just throw them on the sides. So now it's equal, but if you want it to look haphazard, just bring them out of sequence. That's all you got to do. And then I typically work from the center back. Now, if my hot glue is ready, use a piece of scratch paper. Okay, great. It's ready to go. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some along the edge. Let me turn this down here. My weird music. Okay. I'm going to just put it along the sharp edge. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to just jam it into the foam at roughly the angle that I'm looking for. And then it's basically, you know, rinse and repeat, just kind of like making the other stuff. And if you know what this is properly called, feel free, like Gareth, to throw it in the comment sections, because I'm not super knowledgeable at what these things are called. And you get to show off what you know. Always a good thing. Okay, this one's being a little bit difficult, but there's always ways around that. The reason I'm saying it's a little bit difficult is because it's showing more of the glue than I want. But that's what Flock is for. Flock takes care of all that problem, right? Okay. If I didn't teach you anything at all, I hope you walk away with that, because that's a great thing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with the thin guys now. And we're just going to jam that bad boy in there. And this might look kind of open, and it does appear to be kind of open. You can always cut more, jam more in there. You might want to say that it's supposed to be that open just for lines of sight. You're going to have a ton of wisps here, I'm not going to lie to you guys. But once they dry, you can pull them off really easy. They're not difficult at all. Okay. There we go. And this is fun stuff you can just do with scraps, guys. You don't need to have, you know, all the bells and whistles, all the big toys that the little boys in my case have. But here's your defensive wall. And let's see what it looks like in play. Let's just throw some guys behind it. I don't have any siege equipment, unfortunately. They have the spear dudes attacking at long range with the chick with the bow and the lordly knight on this side. We'll say she's like that chick in the new Lord of the Rings. Did you guys see the new Lord of the Rings? I've had some people say that they hate it, and some people say that they love it. Just because I've read the books and I knew what was going to happen, it was very refreshing to see a story that I didn't know what was going on. Like the dwarves, they never went to that city, and yet they had such great scenes. I particularly love the fact that they asked the city, hey, do we want these guys to go there? And then the city basically said yes. So they kind of opened themselves up to the wrath of the dragon. I thought Peter Jackson did a wonderful, wonderful job at that. So that's kind of quick, kind of dirty, how to make an earthen defensive position. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about the second movie, The Hobbit, and we'll talk to you later. Love you guys. Bye bye.